All right, so welcome to part 2, where I've already copied and pasted this rule from the front. When you have an intersecting secant and a tangent outside of a circle, here is the rule. So first off, we have to figure out which one is our secant and which one is our tangent. We're going to assume 24 is tangent because it hits a circle once. So I'm going to start my equation off with 24 squared. That will equal my outside, which is 18, times the total, which will be this part plus this part, so 18 plus x. Okay? Let's simplify 24 squared. 24 times 24 is 576. I can distribute. Let's go ahead and do it one step. 18 times 18 is 324. And then 18 times x is plus 18x. So now let me subtract 324 to get x by itself. That will give you 252 is equal to 18x. Divide by 18 on both sides to get 14. And I'm done because it wants me to solve for x. So it's a little nicer. You have less multiplying if you have a tangent because the total is 24, and that's why they do 24 squared. All right, let's take a look at number 10. Okay, I want to find the length of PN, but I first need to set up my rule. And so this line will be tangent. It intersects once. So I would have 16 squared is equal to my first outside part, which is 8, times the total. So I'm going to go ahead and say the total is going to be 5x, and then 8 minus 1 will give you 7. So the total in here is 5x plus 7. So now I need to simplify. 16 squared is 256. 8 times 5 would be 40x. And 8 times 7 will give you 56. Subtract 56 from both sides. 200 will equal 40x. Divide by 40 to get x is equal to 10. Nope, that's not right. X is equal to 5. All right, so now it wants me to find the length from P to N. I have an equation, so I can substitute it in. 5 times 5 is 25, minus 1 will give you 24. So it could be a little bit more challenging if they give you an equation on the inside, because you do have to figure out the total and combine like terms to get it in that parenthesis. All right, let's look at another one. So I notice on this one, my tangent line is going to be my x this time, which in the other two problems it was a number. So in this one, I'm going to have my x squared equals your outside, which will be 27, times the total. So what's the total from a 27 to a 21? If you add those two together, you are going to get 48. So now I'm going to multiply this right side to get 1,296 is equal to x squared. Now to get rid of a squared, we are going to square root both sides to get me 36. Okay, so if you have x as an outside tangent, you know you're going to have to eventually square root your final answer. All right, let's do one more. All right, so my tangent is going to be 3x right here. Now, if you've got a number in front, what you need to make sure to do is you want to square all of that. So that would be 3x squared on the outside. That's going to equal our outside, which is 9, times the total. So you would add these two, so 9 plus 16 to give you 25. This squared is kind of distributed to both terms. So you'd have 3 squared, which is 9, and then x squared, which is x squared. 9 times 25 is going to give you 225. Now you have to get rid of 9 before you get rid of the squared. So divide by 9 on both sides, leaving you with x squared is equal to 25. And then square your final answer to get x is a 5. And we are done because it just said solve for x. Okay? So that is how you solve it when you have a secant and one tangent. It's a little less work because you don't have to find 2 totals. You only have to find 1 total. Okay, so let's go over the rules again. You can have 2 chords intersecting, or you could have 2 secants intersecting. Like they could be lines. That's okay as well. But if you're talking about segment lengths, you multiply left and the right, multiply left and the right, and then they are equal. Type 2 again is when you have a secant and a secant, which is the outside plus the total, and then the outside plus the total, times the total, sorry. And again, type 3 is one we just did, when you have a tangent and a secant. Tangent would just be a times a, so a squared, and then b times your total, b plus c. And that is all there is to secants, chords, and tangents. So now you know segments, you've learned angles in your previous lesson, and now you get to not get them confused because it's a lot of rules.